Coming to get you, Bobber.
Black Christmas is a 2019 horror remake directed by Sophia Takao, and it stars Imogen Poots, Elisa Shannon and Lily Donahue. Before we get into this, guys, this is going to be a spoiler review. I don't know how else to do a review for this without spoiling it, because there's something that happens near the end of the movie that I need to discuss. A group of female students are stalked by a stranger during their Christmas break. That is until the young sorority pledges discover the killer as part of an underground college conspiracy. Okay, so first off, I went into this movie knowing that there's going to be a lot of social justice commentary in here, and I was preparing myself for it because the trailer obviously showed that. The posters, everything about this screamed out social justice. Now, I'm not a social justice warrior, I'm not for it, I'm not against it. I just believe that everybody is their own people and that's it. Hold nothing against anybody and that's it. So get into this, I knew that there's going to be social justice things happen in this film, and from reading a lot of people's reviews on this already, it was quite heavy. Sorry guys, my ice cream van decided to be very noisy there. So yeah, the social justice was very heavy apparently. So when I was watching this film, I'll start with the social justice aspect first and get that out of the way, because the film isn't all about social justice, but it does play a part. Now, at the beginning and near the middle of the movie, there's that social justice element of women need to be more empowering, and I'm like, right, okay, it's not too heavy. I don't know what everybody's complaining about. And then about halfway through the movie, we hear the social justice aspect from a male's perspective, and this guy's basically saying, well, not all men do what you think they do. And I'm like, well, good for him and good for the filmmakers of the movie for showing two sides of it, showing what men think and showing what women think. So at that point in the movie, I'm thinking, what's everybody's complaint? There's nothing wrong with what the girls are saying in the film, because that's what some of them believe, and what some of the guys are saying in the film, that's what some of them believe. So I'm like, okay, we're seeing it from both angles. There's nothing really wrong with that, and it's not really too heavy, and it doesn't really make a massive bearing on the film itself. So I thought, okay, that's fine. But then near the end of the film, we have the major social justice part, and that's what I had a problem with. I don't have a problem with the message that's been sent, and I don't have a problem with the opinions of what's been sent, but with the fact that they're laying it too thick and heavy, I thought this movie is an absolute train wreck. They're riding on this social justice aspect, and they're sending a message out to people that there's only one side of a story, and I think that's completely wrong. So with the social justice aspect out the way, let's get into the movie itself. The storyline is completely different to what the original Black Christmas was, and also the remake from 2006. It seems like all three movies are different in their own separate ways, and the 2019 remake is a bizarre twist of what we think or thought was going to happen. We've got these group of sorority girls who are being attacked by these people, these boys, these men. It seems like it's an okay aspect because it is a slasher movie at the end of the day, but from what the trailer shows, and I will tell you this right now guys, everybody thought that the trailer spoiled everything, and they were absolutely correct. The trailer basically showed the whole movie. The trailer showed the only twist that was worth seeing for yourself in the movie, and even at that, it wasn't a great twist. And that twist is, not only is the guys going around killing all these girls in the sorority, but they've had this voodoo curse over them from one of the founding members, or the founding member of Hawthorne University, or whatever it is. He's got this black magic curse on all these guys, and what he's doing, he's bringing out the male in humankind. They're bringing out men's dominance taking over women. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, it's ridiculous from a social justice standpoint, but it's also ridiculous from a horror slasher movie standpoint. This shouldn't have been called Black Christmas whatsoever. It was nothing like Black Christmas. There was some tributes to Black Christmas, like was it the unicorn? I'm assuming it's a unicorn. We see that, doesn't get used. We see an icicle going inside a girl. What else? The bag goes over someone's head, but the bag doesn't go over a girl's head, it goes over one of the killer's head. So some twists in the Black Christmas franchise, but nothing redeeming, and nothing worth calling this a true remake to the original or the 2006 movie. I think it was about the halfway point, maybe the last third of the movie. It still felt like the beginning of the film. The film still felt like it had somewhere to go, but it felt like it didn't go anywhere. We had this long 1 hour intro to something that built up to nothing. If we look at the characters next, there was not one character that you could get behind. The only character that we felt like we could get behind was Riley, played by Imogen Poots. Imogen Poots was probably the only actress in this film that was worth watching as well. I think if Imogen Poots wasn't in this film, it would be completely terrible. But she kept it going, she kept the story alive, and she was the only thing worth watching in this film. I'll quickly talk on the PG-13 aspect. This movie was a 15 in the UK, and it didn't have to be a 15, it could have been a 12A. And one of the parts of this film where they kept out a lot of blood, and the one way that they done that was, it looks like this black chocolate was coming out the bad guys in this film, and that's because of the curse that was on them. And I don't think that that was the only reason that they made this twist in the film. I think the other reason was so they didn't have to show a lot of blood, so they could make it a PG-13, because it's not going to make a lot of money. And if they made it a R-rated movie in the US, it would make next to nothing at the box office. And even by making it a PG-13, I still think it's going to make next to nothing. There was one good thing in this film that I quite liked throughout the whole movie, and that was the camera angles mixed with the lighting, especially near the end with Imogen Poots when she's hiding around the house trying to get away from these killers. The glow off the Christmas tree and off the Christmas lights was really nice. You had that kind of blue, green and red hue around. That was really nice. It was nice to look at. Some of the camera angles were good. There was a scene involving a girl who was trying to plug in these Christmas lights and they just weren't working. You can tell a mile away what's going to happen when the lights go on, but it was still a nice touch to the cinematography of the movie. So if you can take anything away from this film, it's probably the cinematography. Overall, guys, I think it was a social justice mess. I don't think there's anything redeeming for this movie at all. I think it's got it sends out the wrong message, basically, and it came out at a time when Blumhouse is bringing out all these really good movies like the Halloween movies. Although the Halloween movies have got subtle social justice elements to them, I think that maybe Blumhouse were saying that this was a good thing and they're going to make a social justice movie, and I think it's going to backfire on them. So if you've seen the new Black Christmas, guys, as always, leave your comments down below. Let me know if you liked the movie, and let me also know that if they took away the social justice aspect, would you have enjoyed it anymore? As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching, thanks for subscribing. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.